Welcome aboard, thrill seekers. Today, we set sail on a journey shrouded in mystery and ghostly whispers. Our vessel, the SS Kamchatka, not just any old ship, but a ship with a story that could chill the bones of even the bravest souls. Built in the late 1800s, the Kamchatka was once the pride of the transatlantic route. But beneath its grand exterior and tales of voyages across stormy seas lies a darker story. A story centered around Cabin 105. Cabin 105, a room that should have been just another number in the ship's ledger. Yet, it quickly became known for something more sinister. Passengers who entered rarely found peace, and some didn't make it out the same. Whispers among the crew told tales of unexplained noises, cold drafts that appeared out of nowhere, and shadows that seemed to move just beyond the corner of your eye. But that's not all. Some spoke of a presence, unsettling and cold, watching from the depths of the night. As more travelers experienced the horrors of Cabin 105, the stories grew, each one adding to the legacy of fear that now hangs over this room. What was once merely a cabin became a test of courage. Would you dare to spend a night here? Our traveler, freshly boarded on the SS Kamchatka, is drawn not just by the promise of the journey but by the allure of a particular room, Cabin 105. Its reputation precedes it, whispered about among those who know the ship's darker tales. The clerk at reception hesitates as he hands over the key, his usual smile faltering as he eyes the number. He leans forward, speaking in a low voice. "Sir, are you sure about this? People say that cabin is cursed. If you have any other choice." Then, a seasoned crew member approaches, his voice laden with concern and experience. He looks directly at the traveler, ensuring his words are taken seriously. "Listen to me, lad. It's not just stories. I've seen strong men broken by what haunts that room. Night falls differently there. Watch yourself," the crew member said, his eyes reflecting years at sea. With each step towards Cabin 105, the air grows colder, the corridor stretches longer, and the soft murmur of the sea turns to a mournful howl. Doubt begins to creep in, but curiosity pushes our traveler forward. Standing at the threshold, our traveler hesitates. The key turns slowly in the lock. What lies beyond this door has driven men to madness and despair. What will it hold for him? The door to Cabin 105 closes with a definitive thud, sealing our traveler inside. The room, though just an ordinary cabin by any ship's standards, holds the air of a place not quite of this world. As night falls, the reality of the warnings begins to creep into his mind. With only the moon to keep him company, the night stretches on. The ship's usual creaks and moans are there, but amongst them are noises that don't quite belong: a rhythmic tapping, a whisper of movement. Trying to dismiss the unease, our traveler pulls the covers closer, but the peace is short-lived. The room grows inexplicably colder, and a faint, unsettling chill fills the air. Suddenly, a loud splash sounds from somewhere very close to the porthole. It's as if the sea itself is reaching out, clawing at the barriers that separate the living from whatever lies beneath. As he rises to investigate the noise, a shadow passes briefly across the light thrown by the lamp. No form is discernible, but the presence is undeniable. Our traveler is not alone. He stands frozen, the air thick with the echo of past horrors whispered about this very room. Every sailor's tale, every whispered warning, now seems all too real. Will the night ever end, or has it only just begun? After the unsettling disturbances of the night, our traveler's attempts to dismiss the fears creeping into his mind become futile. He lies down once again, hoping for sleep to take him away from the chilling grip of Cabin 105. But sleep offers no refuge. The room grows unnervingly silent, as if the sea itself holds its breath. Then, out of the silence, the unmistakable sound of something or someone sobbing quietly in the corner of the room. His heart pounding. He turns slowly toward the sound. There, in the faint moonlight filtering through the porthole, stands a figure, draped in seaweed, water dripping onto the cabin floor. The figure stands motionless, save for the occasional shudder, as if sobbing under the weight of 1,000 drowned sorrows. Our traveler is frozen, transfixed by the spectral vision before him. As the figure slowly raises its head, The moonlight reveals its face, or what remains of it. Pale, bloated, with hollow eyes that seem to stare right through him, the ghost of cabin 105 has shown itself. Paralyzed by fear, he watches as the ghost approaches, each step accompanied by the chilling sound of water sloshing on the wooden floor. The air grows colder, and a faint, salty mist fills the room. Before he can react, the ghost stops just inches away, its mournful eyes locked onto his. A cold, wet hand reaches out, as if begging for help, or perhaps seeking to drag him into the depths from which it came. Just as suddenly, the vision vanishes, leaving behind only the echo of its despair and the lingering chill of the sea air. Our traveler is left alone, shaken to the core, questioning reality itself. The dawn does little to ease the chill of fear that has settled over our traveler. Seeking answers, he finds Brisbane, the grizzled old sailor, staring out at the sea, his face etched with lines of worry and age. As our traveler approaches, Brisbane senses the fear and desperation in his eyes. Knowing the horrors of the night cannot be untold, Brisbane decides it's time to share the grim history of cabin 105. It all started years ago, Brisbane begins, his voice heavy with the burden of his memories. There was a passenger, a young man, much like yourself. He vanished one night. All that was left behind were his belongings and a cabin soaked with seawater. Brisbane continues, recounting tale after tale. Each story darker than the last, each disappearance more mysterious, always leaving behind a room drenched in seawater, as if the ocean itself had claimed the souls of those within. Some say it's the spirit of that first young man, unable to find peace, dragging others into his watery grave. Others believe it's something older, something from the depths of the ocean, awakened by the hubris of men. Brisbane looks directly at our traveler, his eyes grave. I've seen what the sea can do, lad. It's not just water, it's a living thing, and it guards its secrets jealously. With each word, the weight of the truth settles heavier on our traveler's shoulders. The tales are not just warnings. They are a map of what may come if the curse of cabin 105 is not understood and respected. Fueled by Brisbane's tales, our traveler's resolve hardens. He must delve deeper, must understand more if he is to ever break the cycle of horror that haunts this ship. Armed with Brisbane's chilling tales and a fierce need to uncover the truth, our traveler braces himself for another night in the dreaded cabin 105. As darkness falls, the ship seems to echo with the whispers of the past, each wave against the hull a foreboding murmur. The night begins quietly, almost too quietly, as if the sea itself is holding its breath. But the silence doesn't last. Soon, the faint sound of dripping water fills the room, each drop a sharp note in the stifling quiet. Then, without warning, the room temperature drops sharply. A cold so fierce it seems to seep into his bones, making every breath a cloud of vapor in the chill air. Suddenly, the lamp flickers violently, casting long, dancing shadows against the walls. In the erratic light, shapes begin to form, figures draped in seaweed, their movements slow and deliberate, as if weighed down by the ocean itself. As he watches, paralyzed by a mix of horror and fascination, the figures begin to converge around his bed. Whispering voices fill the air, speaking in a language not meant for human ears, their words like the rushing of a deep sea current. Overwhelmed by the spectral assault, he reaches for the camera, desperate to capture proof, to validate his experience, but as his fingers brush the device, the apparitions vanish. The lamp steadies, and the room falls deathly silent once more. With the dawn just hours away, he knows this night of terror is far from over. Each shadow could be a specter, each noise a harbinger of darker things yet to come. As dawn breaks, casting light on the aftermath of a night filled with spectral visions, our traveler's quest for answers grows more urgent. He dives into the ship's archives, searching for anything that could explain the horrors of cabin 105. Piece by piece, the tragic tales of the SS Kamchatka begin to emerge from the shadows of forgotten logs. Each record tells a story of unexplained disappearances, mysterious accidents, and encounters with the inexplicable. One log entry, dated back to a stormy night in 1923, catches his attention. It tells of a crew member who, driven mad by hunting visions, jumped overboard, swearing he was being called into the depths by a mournful voice. Another entry reveals a passenger, a young woman, who wrote of her encounters in cabin 105. She spoke of dreams where she walked on the ocean floor, hand in hand with a figure shrouded in sea mist, who whispered secrets of the deep. Driven by these discoveries, our traveler pieces together a chilling theory. The ghostly figures, the unexplained water, the whispers, they all point to a spirit bound to the ship. Perhaps a soul lost in one of the many tragedies that befell this kissed vessel. As the pieces of the puzzle fall into place, a realization dawns on him. The spirits of cabin 105 are not merely haunting. They are reliving their tragic fates, caught in a loop that ties them to this ship. Armed with knowledge of the past, our traveler knows what he must do next. He must confront the ghostly apparitions once more, but this time, he will not be unprepared. He knows their stories, and perhaps, in understanding their pain, he can find a way to set them free. Night falls once again on the SS Kamchatka, and our traveler stands before cabin 105, the heart of the ship's restless spirits. He is no longer a mere observer, driven by curiosity. Tonight, he is a man on a mission to confront the ghostly echoes of the past and hopefully end the cycle of terror. As he steps inside, the air shifts, growing colder, heavier, as if the very atmosphere is charged with anticipation. He sets the lamp down and sits on the edge of the bed, waiting in the silence that is now thick with the presence of unseen watchers. The minutes stretch into what seems like hours. Then, just as suddenly as the quiet descended, it is broken. The lamp flickers wildly as a gust of icy wind sweeps through the room, the curtains billowing as if caught in a storm. From the corners of the room, they emerge the spirits of those lost to the sea, their faces sorrowful and pleading. The air fills with the sound of their whispers, now clear and desperate. Free us from the depths, release our souls. He rises to his feet, facing the apparitions, not with fear, but with compassion. I know your pain, he says aloud, his voice steady. I know your stories. You're remembered, and it's time for you to find peace. As he holds out the medallion, a bright light emanates from it, enveloping the room. The figures approach, one by one, touching the medallion. With each touch, a figure dissolves into the light, their forms scattering like sea foam, their whispers fading into silence. With the last spirit released, the room brightens, the oppressive weight of the air lifting. Our traveler stands alone in cabin 105, the curse finally broken. The sea's tortured souls have found their peace, and so too will the SS Kamchatka. As he watches the peaceful waves, a profound sense of calm settles over him. Tonight, the sea whispers not of sorrow, but of redemption and farewell. The dawn light spills over the horizon, bathing the SS Kamchatka in a warm, soothing glow. Inside, our traveler sits in contemplation, the tumultuous events of the night behind him, but their echoes still resonating deep within. With pen in hand, he records every detail of the encounter, each apparition, each whispered plea, and the final release of the trapped souls. It's more than just a record. It's a testament to the ship's hidden history and his role in setting right what once went wrong. As he writes, he reflects on the nature of the supernatural, its power to terrify and awe, its ability to connect us with the past, and its relentless demand for respect and understanding. He wonders about the thin veil that separates the world of the living from the realm of the dead. He ponders the lessons learned, that fear often stems from the unknown, and that perhaps the dead, like the living, are just seeking peace. His experience has not only unveiled the mysteries of cabin 105, but has also changed his understanding of life and death. In this quiet moment of reflection, he feels a deep connection to the ship and its spectral inhabitants who are now at rest. He realizes that every place has stories that are waiting to be heard, understood, and respected. Resolved to carry these lessons forward, he knows that this voyage will not be his last encounter with the supernatural. Instead, it has opened a new chapter in his life, one where he seeks out the stories hidden in the shadows, listening for the whispers of history in the wind. As the SS Kamchatka returns to port, our traveler stands at the railing, his eyes lingering on the ship's silhouette against the sunrise. The journey he embarked on has come to an end, but the impressions it left will forever echo in his mind. With each step away from the ship, he carries with him not just memories of terror and triumph, but also a deeper understanding of the supernatural forces that weave through our world. Cabin 105 has been silenced, its spirits freed, but the sea keeps its secrets well. He pauses, a final glance back at the ship. There's a sense of closure, yet a part of him knows the story doesn't end here. The mysteries of the deep are vast and many, and today's answers might breed tomorrow's questions. As he turns to leave, a faint voice floats on the wind, a whisper from the ship. It's indistinct, yet unmistakably a call, a reminder that some connections, once forged, are never truly severed. He smiles slightly, the kind of smile that knows the border between the known and the unknown is thin and often crossed. As he walks away, he feels a chill, a familiar touch, like a shadow passing briefly over the sun. In that moment, our traveler understands that some rooms, like some stories, are never fully vacant. Cabin 105 may quiet for now, but as long as the SS Kamchatka sails, its story is not over.